My name is Daniel Scott with UDAYA.com, and this is Average Joga, a series of easy-to-digest yoga tutorials for people who don't do yoga yet. Take what you like, leave what you don't, go at your own pace, and learn to build your practice from the ground up. Do you have tight hamstrings? It's very possible. When you're starting a yoga practice, tight hamstrings are one of the biggest challenges to overcome. Man, oh man, I know what it feels like. I'm a runner. I like biking. I don't do just yoga. In fact, in order to prepare for this series, I didn't do yoga for like a year. So I know what it's like to have tight hamstrings. So we're going to work on tight hamstrings in a very organic and easy way. Now, just simply moving a lot of yoga poses in general, you're going to have to, your hamstrings will open up over time. But to do focused exercises to open up the hamstrings, we're going to do two specific ones. We're going to do half splits, and we're going to use a strap and work on that from there. So first thing we're going to do is work on the half splits. To get into a half split, it's going to be very fun, very exciting. You're going to come into a lunge. Now, even just being in a lunge, a low lunge that is, even just being in a lunge, it's pretty good on hamstrings. Because with the back foot extended, if you extend that leg, you're going to start feeling some tightness or some stretching. If you feel it straining, drop the knee. Now, from this lunge, from this low lunge, what you're going to do, in fact, I forgot the most important part of this. Yo bricks, grab yo bricks. From the bricks, you're going to have some more space to lift up into things. Now, whatever the front leg is, that's the leg we're going to work on stretching and opening the hamstrings. So you're going to start extending that front leg, keeping the back toes tucked, and you're going to take the bricks back with you. You're going to sit the tailbone towards the heel. Now, if the toes are tucked and it's just screaming at you, thinking, ugh, I hate this, then don't tuck the toes. Sit on the heel. And if sitting on the heel is too much on the knee, you can take a towel and you can put the towel behind the knee crease, and that's going to help make more space in the knee. It might be more comfortable. You can also have another brick to sit on here. In fact, before you even take the brick on your hands, let's just do that. Put a brick under your sit bone. With the foot flat over here, you can begin to stretch forward. Now, it's the same. Go look at the seated forward pose video. This is not about rounding and trying to touch the toes. If anything, it's the shoulders go back so the heart opens forward. And then, oh my gosh, you're going to start feeling hamstrings opening up like you wouldn't believe. Now, fun fact, the hamstrings are actually multiple bands of muscle, bands of meat, right? But if you feel like it's just one big ham-tangle, this is going to be a really nice thing to think about. Flex this ankle to make the hamstrings open up even more. So by pulling the top of the foot back towards the heart, you're going to feel an opening through the back of the leg. From here, if you have an extra brick, you can have the bricks on the ground. If you have another one here, you can fold forward. Right off the bat, this half split is going to help you get where you need to go. Now, with the bricks forward, you might be able to push down more. But with the tailbone over the heel, you're going to feel the stretch a lot more behind, closer to the knee. So what I want you to try to do is come back to that low lunge, and instead of sitting back, try to step the foot forward more and extend the leg. So with the hands on the bricks and folding forward from here, the stretch moves up from the knee towards the hip. And even if you take the hips back without dropping them and you fold forward, the stretch moves up even higher. So you can play with different positions of that front leg to work on different parts of your hamstrings. Now, don't just drop and roll. If anything, keep the gaze lifted and the heart lifted and move slowly from here. Now, if the foot starts to open up this way, you kind of lose the tension in the back, so keeping the ankle flexed, it's going to give you more ability to reach those hard-to-reach parts of your leg. So using the bricks to get in there. And then, of course, working on both sides. Now, you might be at home going, I'm just looking at what you're doing, Daniel, and I just don't think I can do that. Okay, well, we have something we can do. We have ways of making your hamstrings speak. Put the bricks off to the side for now. Grab yourself a strap or a belt or a towel or something that helps extend the reach. And what you want to do is lie on your back. Take your knee to your chest. Grab that strap and then reach it across the ball of the foot. And you can just let that hang. It's very possible you've seen this before and thought, yeah, I could do that. And you've probably done it, but you've thrown your leg up and done things. So we're going to go super slow, super gentle, and super easy. If having the one leg extended is way too tough, bend the knee and have the foot flat on the ground. And then extend your leg as high as you can. If you have tight hamstrings, it might not go any higher than this. You might not be able to fully extend the leg. That's fine. Try to get your hands as high up the strap as possible. And then begin to lengthen, not even lengthen, but grab onto the strap and then draw your shoulders down. Don't pull the arms. Draw your shoulders down to add some tension, and then try to extend through the heel. Now, if you can't get it that high, you can have the leg farther away. In fact, if you have tight hips and hamstrings, you might not be able to get the leg 90 degrees or past. So having this extra length is going to help you get into the tightness. Now, if you have your foot turning out, it's going to put undue pressure in parts of your legs that you don't want. So try to keep your big toe rotated in so the knee, the hip, and the ankle are in line with each other. If you can extend that bottom leg more, try to reach up a bit harder. So if you reach up with the shoulders and then lean back with the shoulders, you might find gets into different parts of your hamstrings. Now, from here, if you can take both straps into one hand, that's great. But if you can't, keep both straps in each hand. Try to move the leg inward and outward and try to see which different parts of your hips and hamstrings open up as you do this. Now, if this is my right foot that's up, if I take both straps into the left hand, I can take my right arm out to the side. Now, there's two things to think about here. One, if I pick up my right hip and I roll onto my left side, it's a bit of a twist. And that's a whole different video. That's a whole different movement. What I would like you to work on, instead of letting the hip come up, keep that right hip down and then try to move that right foot past, or at least past the center line without lifting up that hip. You're going to find a nice stretch, not just in the hamstrings, but on the piriformis and the outside of that right hip. So I'll show you what it looks like so you can see it on that side. Instead of trying to pick this hip up and roll onto the other side, keep your hips, keep your lower back on the ground. The extended leg is up. The opposite hand reaches towards the brick. That same extended leg's arm reaches out to the side, and you just move the arch of that lifted leg 3 inches towards the extended leg on the ground's side. So this is my left leg. I'm trying to move that foot slightly past towards my right hip. For you, it might be 1 inch. For people with a bit more open on the hamstrings, it goes a bit farther. Now, here's the thing. Maybe you're at home and you're like, I don't have a strap. I can't do that. I don't have a towel. I don't shower. I don't do these things. Well, that's fine. Maybe you're not even at home. Maybe you're at your office and you just have 10 minutes to stretch. So instead of taking the leg up, you can draw the knee in, and that might be a good place to start. Or you can extend the leg up as much as you can, interlace the fingers behind the knee crease below. It's funny to say when the leg's up, you want to say below the knee crease, but it's really above the knee crease, towards the thighs, the back of the hamstrings. Interlace the fingers, point the thumbs up, and then from here, make sure this bottom leg's ankle is flexed and extended as best you can. Now, on the inhale, prepare. On the exhale, press the hamstring into the hands, and at the same time, draw the hands into the hamstring. So you press the thigh away, but then you draw the leg in. And if you do this right, you're going to start feeling your hamstrings going, whoa, and that's awesome. Because you want to make sure that you're activating something. Take a breath in and then exhale, release. So use one inhale to prepare, exhale, draw in for the full exhale, and then on the inhale, relax and release. You might find every so often it might give you more space. Now, if you really want to add more excitement to the mix, once you've got that connection, interlacing the fingers, pushing the thigh into the hands into the thigh, gently draw the hands down 1 inch and extend through the heel for extra added hamstring magic support. Over time, you might find that the hamstrings start opening up more, and then maybe you can get your hands up to your foot, or hands up to your calf, or hands up to your ankle. But what you want to think about is not trying to round through the spine and take the energy or the awareness out of the legs. Let the shoulders stay on the ground and try to bring the leg to you. 'You. And of course, just like everything, doing both sides is super important. Now, if you just take a moment to look at how my ankles are flexed on both legs, regardless of them being lifted or lowered, the ankle flexing starts activating the hamstrings. And with the activated hamstrings, you might find it easier to stretch them out. But here's the thing. If you have very tight hamstrings, flexing that ankle is going to actually make it harder. So you might want to not flex the ankle and see if that gives you a different feeling or connection to the tightness that you already have. If you are tight, it's about finding softness. If you are soft, it's about finding strength. This balance, this dance, is really where this whole practice of yoga comes through, knowing when to be strong, when to be soft, and when to go back and forth with a little bit of breath and a whole lot of awareness. I'm pretty sure you can do it. So, how'd all that land for you? Hopefully, it sparked a fire. And if you're looking to fan the flame, head over to UDAYA.com and enter the promo code AVERAGE Joga. You're going to have access to a lot more classes from myself and a host of amazing teachers from around the world of all shapes, styles, and colors. By all means, let this serve as a great foundation to build a home practice on that you can have for the rest of your life. Enjoy.